Go to TAPgiles.com to learn dreams, engage my services, and support the channel.
So let's use this in an actual scene now. So let's make a bit of a wall. Let's get a puppet. And in here we'll do some similar logic to what we did in that other one. So this will be, I'll kind of implement it in a simple way and not really worry about finessing it too much. So you could just put like holes and stuff in here. So I guess I'll just try that first, and we can do the markers method afterwards, I guess. So let's edit that, and I'll just put some notches in it. Okay. So we want to find the front edge of that. Yeah. So let's put this on the grid first. But I tend to move the puppet around, put it on the grid, have it facing the way we want to move when we test, and then rotate this window around so that it's facing us as we look at the scene. And now when we start playing, it's facing the right way, and then when we pause, the windows are still facing us. Let's have a chip. This will be for finding that front edge using the laser scope. Let's give this a particular label called scenery, and I'll have this be the horizontal one. So if you think about the puppet grabbing onto something, its arms will be kind of up by its head. So I'm going to look around that area, and it's going to go straight through, and we want to only care about the scenery. Okay, so when it gets close enough, it will find that wall. And then we have another one. But we want it to be so that even if you're right up against it, you'll still find it. So let's have it just there. Okay, so this is the thing about using it for the actual real sculpts, is that you can't adjust this to make it more reliable. You're just kind of stuck with whatever visual you want. Yeah, when it finds this, when it finds both of them, then we want to do some stuff. So this is the hit something output. So when it finds that surface, then it's going to send a signal from hit something. So if they both hit something, it means we've found a ledge that we can grab onto if we want to. But we also want to make that position, so let's do that. And then what do we want to happen when it finds this? Well, first we'll just output this stuff for now. So this is the position, so I'll just give it a different icon. This is, it's found it, so let's give it a flag. Okay, so now we have this chip, and we can have another chip that actually does the grabbing onto the ledge part. So I'll just copy those nodes out here and wire them in. Make them input nodes. And now we don't have to care where these come from. They could come from different sources, different ways of finding the position and things like that, and it will still trigger the same logic. So first we want to follow, so that this puppet uses the position that we found on that ledge to move to it. So let's do this and say that is the point of the ledge, and we'll just up the strength and stuff, give this a large number. And if we play, now you can see it's kind of staying there. So now we tweak the follower and wire the position into there and the found it into the follower, and now it'll fall down unless it finds that ledge, when you're close enough. Aha! Okay, so it's not like getting stuck on anything or whatever with the follower, but now if you jump close enough to that ledge, then it finds it. Or it might just be too high. Yeah, I think probably the front, yeah, that top laser is probably a bit far in. Something like that. Yeah, you can see it's just on the edge there, look. So I'll try adjusting that. One thing you may notice is when you just walk up to it, it's kind of getting stuck on it, and we don't want to check for any of this stuff while we're on the ground. So over here I'll have a puppet interface, and this is inside this object. It's in this chip inside the puppet. Any puppet interface gadget kind of communicates with the actual puppet itself in some special ways. So one of those is if it's on ground. So we want to know if we're not on ground. So I'll use a not gate, wire into that. So this represents if you're not on the ground. Then we'll power this and let it actually try to find a ledge. So now even if we walk up to it, nothing will happen until we jump. I'm going to change this to actually use markers instead. So this won't have that that label, and we'll leave these as kind of visual representation, and this is what the player will see. And it could be like more interesting artistically, but kind of markers for this to actually look for, and then it doesn't have to conform to what you can actually see in the game. So for that I'll just use sculpts. So these are basically custom sculpts, and they will be nice and deep and thick so that it's easy to find the front of it and easy to find the height of it, because this is deeper. It doesn't matter how far, how deep it is, how deep the laser scope looks for, it will still find it. So let's use that. Okay, and then we just put it where we want it. So we want the front edge of that wall, remember, so just tuck that in like that. And this could have the same angle actually, so let's do that. Okay, so but this will be easier to find because it's very deep. So let's go into this logic again. Okay, so these are still looking for the scenery label, so let's give this the scenery label, and let's have a look and see if this makes it easier for it to find. Yeah, so it finds it really easy there, and the difference between that one and that one was kind of a problem, so let's just check that one as well. Okay, so let's just say that's that. So it finds it there, and it finds it there. So that's cool. Now, next we want to make it so the puppet rotates so it's kind of facing back. So if we're like at an angle like this, we'll grab onto the ledge, but we'll be facing a funny way. You want to face the ledge really. So again, we can use that the orientation of this one, so that when we're close by it, then we'll have that green arrow, but at the moment it's powered off. So I'll just delete that. So we've got that green arrow, and we want to use that to make the puppet's back face away from that surface. So let's use a lookout rotator just like before. And if we found a ledge, then we'll power it. And we want to, so from here we want to output that orientation. So I'll give it a different icon, and we send it the hit surface orientation, and we'll take that in over here. Okay, and now we can make that an input and wire that into the look at rotator's direction. And whammy these up. Oh, we have to adjust the arrow because it always points off to the side. So let's bring this back out here. Have it pointing away because it's going to match the green arrow, and the green arrow is going to be pointing away. So we want this arrow to be pointing away, and then they'll try and match each other. Okay, cool. And if we go at it from a bit of an angle, then it kind of rotates to match the wall, so that's good. So next we want to be able to kind of shimmy left and right. So while we are kind of locked on like this, we want to do some extra logic. So actually we'll put these into a chip so that we can just power the chip while we're in this kind of ledge grabbing mode. So we can put those in there, and now they don't need those extra wires. We can just power the chip, and all the stuff inside it will be powered while the chip is powered. Cool, so let's have a controller sensor in remote control mode, which means you don't have to possess an object or whatever. This will just work, but only while we're locked onto a ledge. Cool, and we want to be able to move it left and right, so let's use a mover. And give it high strength and stuff. You can adjust the speed how you want. But if we play time now, if I just move this outside, I'll move both of this outside actually. So you can see it like moves to the right, but it's a bit fast for a ledge. So let's do that. Okay, and now we want to affect this so that it's more positive if we're pushing right and more negative if we're pushing left. And we use that from the left stick local, which means it's just the actual what the stick is doing. It doesn't matter what angle you're looking at through the camera or anything. But this is like the up, down, left and right of it, so it actually has multiple values. If we wire that into a splitter, you can see it's got an X and a Y, and we want that X, which is left and right. So let's just wire the X into the speed, and by default, because this had a value and we wired into it, it's got this X. And if you hold L1, you can see what that means. It's a wire blend mode called modulate, which means it multiplies the input by whatever value was there before. So if we play time and we push right, now it's increasing the value to a positive, and then you push left and then it becomes a negative number. But we only want that to work while we're locked on in here. And also we want to stop the normal movement from working, because we turn that off. If you just jump onto here, and then we can still push left and right, but it's kind of trying to walk, and you can pull away from the wall and things like that. We don't want to let any of that happen. So we'll also have a keyframe in here that goes into the controller logic. And remember the puppet interface we had earlier? That's actually what tells the puppet what direction to walk and lean and jump and things like that. So we want to turn that off so that none of those things work while you're locked onto a wall. And we'll turn that keyframe on. And now only our left and right shimmying logic will work. Okay, and then if we go off the edge, then it will just drop because the laser scope can't find it anymore. It keeps on, because that is just the right height. I think we keep on standing on the actual ledge or something. So I think just for now, I'll put something in there so that it can't, so that we can't collide with the inner lip of that, and we won't have it be that label, so it doesn't matter. but now we won't get caught on the inside of the visual sculpt.
Thanks for watching. I hope you learned something interesting. Go to patreon.com/TAPgiles to learn something new every day.